Hi, welcome back. In this lesson, I'd like to spend a few minutes and talk about fist conditioning. In our style of Wing Chun, we subscribe to the theory of economy of motion. And along that theory, what that theory causes us to think next is, if we're going to get in a confrontation and we're going to strike somebody, we want the confrontation to last as short a time as possible, which also means we want to strike them as few times as possible. That's the economy of energy type of thing, economy of motion. So if we're going to strike somebody, we want to make sure that they fall down or are motivated not to continue to fight us. We want to do that with as little motion as possible, and typically that means we're going to want to hit them once and not 2 or 3 or 4 times. We also think, as far as power generation goes, if you have to hit somebody 3 times or 4 times before they get the message, that to us means the power of your punch is not as high as it could be. Because if the power of your punch was higher and your bone density in your fist was really strong and really mighty, when you hit somebody once, that should be enough. So we're going to take advantage of this thing called Wolff's Law. And what Wolff's Law states is that your bones get denser and harder when they're put under pressure. So we're going to use a couple of training methods to increase our bone density so that when we hit our opponent, we're hitting them with a harder object. First of all, we're going to use the training floor. Now, here on the set, we have a soft wood floor. What I would recommend is get some tiles, or concrete works just fine, and we're going to do this density drill on those materials. So what we're going to do is take our 2 punching knuckles. We hit with the bottom 2 knuckles in our style. What I'm going to do is take those 2 knuckles, put them on the floor. Hopefully you don't have something nice and soft floor like I do. Put your 2 knuckles on the floor and just put some weight on that. Line your shoulders up over your knuckles. Straighten your body out and just wait. Typically we'll do this for 10 or so minutes on each side, so left side and right side. We'll do this during our class or after our class to help build a little bit of density, build a nice tight martial fist. And we can do this on both sides, as I said. Work your way up to about 10 minutes per side. One recommendation I'd like to give you is, before you do that drill, just feel free to cut your nails, because as the minutes drag on, you'll feel your nails may start to dig into the palm of your hand. So just trim them. Typically a good habit to stay well groomed, so clip your nails before doing this drill. The other thing that we'll use is the sandbag or the wall bag. And we're going to take some soybeans, some mung beans, put them in the bag, fill it up nice and tight, and then we're going to punch it. That's going to help us to improve the density of our fist, to make our fist nice and strong. It's going to toughen the tendons and the skin around your fist, so when you hit, you'll be able to hit with a lot of power. When you're practicing with the wall bag, what I'd like to suggest is, don't try in the beginning, don't try to generate power. Much like a golf swing or tennis swing, what we want to do is learn to use the weapon, or learn to use the tool that we've been given to generate power, instead of trying to use your muscles to generate power. And in the beginning, you don't have the proper technique to be able to generate power. So what we'd like to do is suggest that you work on the technique, and as your technique improves, your power will improve. Imagine this. After years of practice, and you training on the wall bag and you're training the floor drills, imagine after years of training, you could turn your fist to be as hard as a hammer. You know, a carpenter's hammer? Imagine if you could train and you could improve the density of your fist so that it became as hard as a hammer. Imagine what you could do. Imagine a fight where you had two of these and somebody attacked you, or they shoot in at you with their head leading. Imagine what you could do if you just took a swing. So what we want to do is build our fists so that we have a tool that's as hard as the hammer. So when we hit people, we don't have to hit them a number of times. We get good technique, good power, and a good solid tool. So I'd like to show you how we hit the punching bag. As I said before, it wants to be about technique and not necessarily power. So I'll show you a good timing that you can use that'll allow you to get a fair bit of practice in when using the wall bag. This wall bag that we have is one of the two-section wall bags from Everything Wing Chun. Top one's filled with sand, bottom one's filled with gravel. So what we want to do is we're going to hit these. I recommend you start with the soybeans. When you can punch it 1,000 times without any injury or any problems whatsoever, move on to sand. We have sterilized playground sand in here. And then once you're okay with that, what we have in here is aquarium stones. So small stones that aren't jagged. So when you're going to punch, get into your stance. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of the tempo so you'll get a feeling for one of the ways you can practice. And doing a punch at that rate, sort of at that tempo, give you a chance to get lots of practice in. If you do that for an hour or 2 hours, maybe 1,000 punches or so, should give you the opportunity to get a fair bit of practice in, and will also help with that Wolff's Law and bone density improvement. That's all I'd like to say in this lesson about the bone density training. Once again, I thank you all for watching. I look forward to seeing you again. Until then, bye for now.